All right, so we just got to a maintenance. These customers are part of my annual maintenance plan where I come once in the fall for the heating and once in the summer for the AC. I was here last year and had to replace this blower motor down here because it, I don't know, shorted out. There's some power surge in the area, so we added also a surge protector just to help out, even though that the new motor does have its own surge protector. That's just gonna protect, you know, all the other electronics in the system. So today we're just here doing maintenance. This is a carrier. Let's get the model numbers here. And we are in California, so California does have these ultra low NOx furnaces, where you have this burner box down here, where the burners aren't accessible and not serviceable unless they get clogged up and you have to replace the whole entire burner assembly. So today I'm going to run you through my steps and how I do my preventative maintenance on these ultra low NOx systems. A lot of it does have to do, of course, you know, with the flame sensor back there, checking gas pressure, temperature rise, and also cleaning this guy back here, which is the condensate collector box, and making sure that the drain lines are all nice and clear, because I've had a lot of these systems in this particular neighborhood here in Merced, California, where they're all having drainage issues because the collector boxes get clogged up with a bunch of gunk. So I'll be showing you guys a little bit how I do the PMs. Stay tuned. All right, so we got the flame sensor out, and it's a little crusty, not terrible, but these types of systems are really sensitive to low flame sense. I took it out back there, so let's clean this guy off. Didn't bring any emery cloth up for me, so I'm just going to lightly take off the buildup that's on here, all the oxidation and buildup. That you don't want to go too hard on this, just kind of lightly get all this off. All right, that looks about right. I don't know if you guys can see it that good, but that's all it needs. It doesn't need too much. Looks like we got a little bit of burning on the porcelain there, so I'll probably recommend just swapping this thing out, but we'll test it and make sure it has good, you know, good microamps. All right, we got the flame sensor back in. Next thing we're gonna do is we are gonna make sure all these pressure switch tubes are clear and all the ports that they hook up to are good and clear, and also take off that collector box and see if we got any buildup. All right, we're gonna take out this collector box now. These pressure switch tubes. All right, so this guy right here, there's a lot of buildup that gets inside of these. So we're gonna clean this out. And I'll show you guys down here. You can see all the gunk, you know, that builds up in these. So it's best to make sure that these holes are all clean. You try to get as much of that gunk out of there as possible, because in that collector box will overfill. Here's a good example of, you know, these things needing to be clean, because look, there's like a bug or something that's caught up in there. So let's take that little dude out. I already got those ports cleaned up as best as I could, but they look a lot better. I disconnected the pressure switch tubing. This one has a little bit of gunk in it, so we're going to clean that one. I already cleaned the little pressure switch that's there. This one's just the vent for the condensation, so we'll go ahead and clean this one out too. All right, we got that pressure switch vacuumed out. The next thing I do is I make sure the drain, you know, coming out of this guy is clear. That's pretty clean. And then we're gonna just flush this out with the vacuum. So I like to vacuum it and then blow it out a little bit. All right, that should be good. This furnace didn't have a problem draining before, but you can definitely tell that moisture has been in here at one point. So before we leave, we'll look into that. But there's no standing water, just some oxidation, which could just be from this line set not being fully insulated. That's probably dripping condensation. When the AC's on, you can tell right there from those oxidation spots. Let's see if we can pull this line set cover, tighter. All right, we got the collector box all plugged back in, pressure switch tubing and the vent tubing. It's really important too to make sure that these guys are, catching PVC and they're not pinching down the rubber tube there. There's two of them, one on the collector box. I want to make sure that's all the way on and that one's all the way on. We're gonna have a lot of leaking. All right, so one thing Carrier does say is the biggest problem they have with these burner screens back here, because they're not in-shop burners. It pretty much is a screen, a very fine wire screen. And they said the biggest problem with them getting clogged up is insulation. From being in an attic, there's insulation everywhere. So it is important also for part of the maintenance is to try to keep this cabinet as clean as possible, because there is the air fuel mix that goes into there. That's where you get your fresh air into your burner for combustion. So always take a step to kind of just vacuum and clean the cabinet out. right, next thing we're gonna do, we got done pretty much with cleaning the collector box, pressure switch tubes, the flame sensor, vacuumed out the cabinet, and now we are going to check our gas pressure because most regulators are 3.5, but these ultra low NOx are 2.3 inches of water column. So we want to make sure we're within spec. And your output's right there for checking it. Carriers are a little different. They don't have the tap screws to check the gas pressure on here. You use a little Allen key to crack it loose. You just need to crack it loose just like that. And Carrier sells these little adapters, but you could pretty much make it out of any nylon tubing or whatever will fit over it. But that's pretty much your setup. So let's connect it to our manometer and fire this thing up, make sure we're good. We're also going to be checking the temperature rise as well. All right, so this unit calls for a 30 to 60 degree rise. So our air temperature rise has got to be in that spec. Let's fire it up. All right, this thing's about to fire it up. Got our manometer hooked up. It hasn't ignited yet. I got my field piece temperature probes, one in the supply, one in the return, and we're gonna check the temperature rise. That condensate box is gonna be gurgling a little bit just because it's empty, so once it fills up with condensation, those little noises will go away. It's crazy because on these ones you can't even see the igniter glow, you know, on your standard in-shot burners. There we go. So let's check. It looks like it's a little low. I don't know, maybe somebody adjusted it before, but we'll get that back to 2.3. There we go. Got it back to about 2.3. We'll keep it right there. See how it does. Let's check these temperatures. All right, so we just got done. Cycled it a few times. Ran it for about 15 to 20 minutes each cycle. My temperature rise was about 38, 39 degrees. So it was good. Temperatures are fine. Got that gas pressure back to factory spec. Got the little Allen bolt there all torqued down and connected. So we are ready to go. So that's pretty much how I do my maintenances on these ultra low NOx furnaces. I don't think they're only in a few states. I know California being one. I don't know if New York or any other states have adopted this, but definitely California. So this is what we're working with now here, and this is all new construction from about 2020 and to present. These are all in new homes. You know, this home's only a few years old, so got it going. It's working safe. Got all the maintenance done, and hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please subscribe. Thank you.